What's up, Courtney, Sophia, TY, Ty? Hopefully you guys are doing well. Excited to be here tonight. And those of you who couldn't make it tonight, we are recording. So you're probably watching it now if you weren't here tonight. This is my daughter. So if you want to say something.
Hi.
You said do the work. We had this planned out.
Do the work.
Do the work. Excited to have our two mindset coaches on as well. And if you've signed up, which we've got a full class load, you're obviously here to get better. And so Matthew Blades and Lindsay Fry, two of the best in the business when it comes to mindset stuff. And so they're phenomenal. And I know the athletes that were in it last year, we got a ton of amazing feedback. We do have a couple of repeat people. So they're going to learn about the things they've already learned about, and they're going to learn even more than they did from the previous. So super excited for this to come to fruition. And I am going to first, before I kick it over to Lindsay and Matthew, I'm going to kind of go through Google Classroom just a little bit, just so everybody is on the same page and we know exactly what it is we are doing. So first things first, I'll share my screen. I guess before we do that, hold on one sec. Those of you that are here, Jocelyn, Sophia, TY, Ty, if you have any questions or anything throughout this whole thing, one, unmute yourself and ask, or two, just pop it in the chat and then we can answer those kind of as we're going. So I'll share my screen. Google Classroom. If you haven't gotten the link yet, then you should check your email. If you haven't gotten it all, shoot us an email and we'll send you the actual link. And then all you do is when you go in there, we're going to be posting things in the stream for you to work on. And so just to kind of give an example, last year's project mindset, we would post, Lauren helped us last year, but we would post like the Zoom links and the information for that. We would post the videos that need to go in there that you need to watch. No, not right now, Soph. And then we would post the, I want to try to find like a homework link. So then we'd post these homework links. And the cool part about these links is you can comment in there and ask any questions that you might have. So that is what the work will look like. And then I'm going to go back to ours. There's a class code that you should have in your email as well. It's super simple to join. Looks like a bunch of us have already joined. So we should be set on that. And the coaches will be in there as well. They'll be able to see. I don't know if I've added you yet, Matthew. I can get you added in there as well. So you can just make sure you check things out. But as you can see,
thanks.
Yeah, we had a lot of people comment today that they're not able to make it, but that's why we're recording this, and that'll get posted shortly after the session as well. So a lot of simple, easy things to use, and Google Classroom is one of the more simpler, I don't know what to call it, I guess. Tools. There you go. One of the more simpler tools to use as members of the class. All you have to do is make sure you're checking the feed, a couple times a week so you can see your homework. And I know, especially last year, the homework was super important to do before you got to the class, because that is what they based a lot of their lessons on. So make sure you hammer that home. But without further ado, I don't know if kick it over to Lindsay or Matthew first, but excited to have both of you. Thanks for making these athletes better, and have at it.
Tear it up, Lindsay. Tear it up.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Danny. Appreciate it. Excited for a second summer of doing Project Mindset. Like Danny said, there's some familiar names on that list. Got a couple from last year just on this call, which is great. So first, I just want to say thank you guys so much for signing up. To us, that's the most exciting thing, right? Because that signals to myself and Coach Matthew that you are not just a hockey player. You're someone who wants to put in the extra effort to go above and beyond. And that's ultimately why we do this, because we want to work with athletes who are passionate about being the best that they can be. And I'll just quickly introduce myself and tell my story. This will be a little repetitive for those of you who are on one of the informational calls we had a couple weeks ago, but I grew up in Arizona. Played boys hockey most of my life until I realized that I probably wasn't going to play in the NHL and that the Olympics were really where it was at for me. And so my dreams shifted. I ended up going and playing for a girls team in Colorado. And then from there was recruited to play hockey at Harvard University and ultimately on the Olympic team in 2014, where we won a silver medal. So that's sort of my career in a nutshell. But you'll hear me talk about this a lot during our live lessons. The biggest thing that I tell people, the biggest shift that happened for me, by the time you're in college hockey, by the time you're playing high level hockey, you're not making a ton of gains in practice. You're making small gains. So I tell people all the time, the biggest difference for me between me as a college player and me as an Olympic player, what helped me break through and get to that next level was all in here. It was all a shift in my mindset. It was the way that I prioritized my time. It was my focus. It was my awareness. It was all the things that we're going to talk about in this class. That was the difference for me. And that's why I personally am so passionate about mental performance, about working with athletes on their mindset, because it literally changed me as a player. It changed me as a person and really kind of changed my life in a lot of ways. So I'm very excited about this class. I'm really proud of all of you for jumping on and joining us, and we're going to have a ton of fun. So that's me. Pass it off to my friend and co-coach, Matthew Blades.
Yeah, it's funny, right? We're on video, but we're like 5 miles from each other to here in Arizona. I love it. And I echo what you said. It's so cool to see people involved and engaged in this part of the game, because as somebody who's been a coach for 17 years and really somebody who's been focused on mindset most of those 17 years, I've seen the difference it can make. And one of the things that I love about Lindsay Fry is what she just said. You are, if not now, eventually going to get to a stage in your career, your sporting career, whatever that is. And the incremental changes aren't going to be huge anymore. And the difference is going to be the way that you think about it. So what we're doing here is just laying all this cool groundwork, not just for your hockey life, but for your real life too. And the relationships that you guys have with your buddies and your friends and your community and your team and all of those things. And that is what really gets us pumped up every single day to bring this work to you. And I think Lindsay and I talked a little bit about it before we jumped on today. And I said, you know what we should do is we should like tee up a couple of the weeks that we're really looking forward to in the next 8 weeks, just to give people an idea of which hit song we can't wait to sing, so to speak. And so I want you to go first, Linz, but because then I'm ready with mine. But like, what's one of the weeks that we have coming up that you're super excited about?
Yeah, honestly, it's for me, it's week one. It's the foundation. It's laying the base. And for those of you who did this last year, we talked about, you might not remember, but we talked very briefly about this idea of a green light mindset and this idea of street lights. That small component that we worked with last year is going to really become the base of this entire 8 weeks. And it's such a useful tool that you not only use just for yourself, but you can use with your teammates. And I think one of the things that is really cool about you guys being here is you're making your teams better. Look, you're probably maybe one, maybe there's a couple of you who play on a team together, but for the most part, my guess is that it's like one of you guys on your team that's here investing the time working on this. What I think is so cool about the streetlight concept that we're going to teach you and we're going to walk through is that you can take that, introduce it to your teams back at home, and it's not just going to make you better, it's going to make your entire team better. And this being a team sport, I think that is just so incredibly valuable. So I'm really fired up to work through our streetlights and lay the base this week.
Well, we did it. We actually went and we presented to a whole volleyball organization maybe like 2 or 3 months ago. And it was the weekend before they went to this tournament. And they went to that tournament and lit it up because everybody was on the same page, man. They were all using the same words and the same language. And it was just really cool and powerful. I think the week that I look forward to is almost week 2, not to just go 1-2 on you, but I love to help people figure out their why. And you can be 10 and you could be 12 and you could be 14 and 16, and your why can shift and change all the time. But when you get to key in on what your why is, and I'll just give everybody a quick example, like my why is a winning locker room, because I don't think there's anything better. I don't think there's anything better than the team is just won. We all in the locker room. It's a big game. Everybody's celebrating. It's high fives. It's smiles. It's tons of energy. The parents are excited. You know, like that feeling is my why. And so whatever we have to do to achieve that feeling, it makes it easier to go get it, because I have a little bit of a purpose and a little bit of a focus on that. So for me, that's the week that I'm going to be really excited about. And then I also really love, I think it's going to end up being week 6 or so, but it's this good teams versus great teams philosophy that I use with every single one of my guys and girls. And it's just a way to help you separate the two and figure out which kind of a team you want to be on.
I love it. And I'll just to kind of go back a little bit to what Coach Danny was presenting at the beginning, as far as the Google Classroom is concerned. So Coach Matthew and I, we wanted to keep this short. We wanted to keep it sweet to make sure that you guys weren't feeling like you're just sitting in school for however many weeks, right? Because we know you guys already get a lot of that. Some of you, at least in Arizona, I know some of you guys are starting school up here pretty soon. So we want to make sure that every piece of content, every video, every homework assignment, it's quick, but it's useful. And so we're not going to keep you guys here for hours on end. We're going to slowly introduce videos, assignments. And the way that's going to work is Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, you guys are going to get various pieces of content, whether that be video, whether that be something we want you to fill out. But I want to be clear, like, we get it. You guys are busy. You're athletes. Some of you, your seasons are getting going here again. If you can't do your assignments or watch your videos on the day that they're released, don't panic, right? Our goal is to give you the assignments or the videos to watch Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then you have Sunday, Monday, and really Tuesday as well to sort of catch up before our Tuesday night live lesson. But if at any time you're not able to watch something or you're not able to complete something before we have our live lesson for the week, I just don't want anyone to panic. I've been getting a lot of emails from parents, and I don't know, Coach Danny, if you've been getting questions about it, but we are not going to hold you to a strict schedule. We want this to be something that works for you and works with your schedule. And ultimately, you're going to get out of it what you put into it. There's no test at the end of this. This is all for you. This is all about you getting better. So I just wanted to add that in there, that as you go into your Google Classroom, you're not going to be able to work ahead, because we want to make sure everybody's kind of working at the same pace. But if you miss something, don't stress about it. We're here to make you better. We're here to have fun. And we're here ultimately to give you tools that you can use when you hit the ice this season.
Super. Yeah. And I want to echo on that and then say, let's not be afraid to ask questions. Let's not be afraid to say, I don't understand. Let's not be afraid to say, I need help with this. It's the reason that we're here. And so to your point, I think if you get stuck on a video that comes out on Thursday, keep moving on Friday, keep moving on Saturday, we can come back to Thursday on the Tuesday live the following week, and we can help you answer any questions that you might have and explain some things in a way maybe that makes more sense than it just does as it reads or you watch the videos.
Totally. And I think the other thing that Coach Matthew and I talked about before we got on this call is we want this to be a safe space. And I said this in the info call. There are just some ground rules that are going to be important. We are respectful of everyone. We've got different age ranges. We've got some kids who are going to be 10U players. We've got some who are 19U players. So I just want to make sure that everybody understands that this is a safe space. This is a safe space to ask questions. This is a safe space to share stories and experiences. And if anyone is not being respectful, we're going to be addressing that. In that same light, I do want to make sure that you guys understand that the only way that we get better, right? Just like when we're on the ice, if we don't understand something, we've got to ask those questions. And I know that sometimes when we're bringing in concepts that maybe you've never heard before, maybe you don't really know anything about mindset. That's okay. And I was sharing with Coach Matthew before we jumped on here. I remember when I was a freshman in college, I really wanted to take Swedish. I just thought it was a super cool language. My great grandparents are from Sweden, and I was a little late to the first class, and the professor was only speaking in Swedish. And I was like convinced I missed something. I'm like, I missed the first 5 minutes. Everybody here knows how to speak Swedish now. I'm done. So I say that because everybody's coming into this class with a different a different set of experience when it comes to this type of coaching and this type of training. Some of you were on here last summer. Some of you may have no idea what any of this stuff is about. So I just want you to know, don't be like me when I left that Swedish class because I was afraid that everybody else knew more than me. Ask questions. We are here to support you. We're here to make this a fun and inclusive environment. And I think, yeah, Matthew, go for it.
Well, I was going to say, in a way, we are going to kind of learn a new language. We really are. In the next 8 weeks, we are going to kind of pick up a lot of terms that are going to be new to us. And maybe we've heard the words before, but we haven't heard them used enough in a way where we really understand what they talk about. So I really love that you shared that story. Yeah. Don't get up and go, sit down and raise your hand and say, well, help me get this a little bit more, because we're going to be really patient with everybody and really move at your speed.
Totally. So I think since we're on that topic of asking questions, one of the things that Coach Matthew and I wanted to hear from you guys, and I realize there's only 3 of you that are here live with us, but if you feel comfortable unmuting yourself, great. If not, put it in the chat. But we want to hear from you. Like, why are you here? What's going on in your game right now that you think that mental performance and mindset is going to improve? What do you want to learn from this class? Does anyone feel comfortable sharing that with us? And it could be just a quick thing in the chat, right? Like, I want to not be as frustrated when I get scored on. I want to be a better teammate. Whatever it is.
And we could be at a place where you don't know what you don't know yet, too. And so you're just not really even sure where to start on the whole thing. But listen, that is the purpose of the next 8 weeks, is just to give you this unbelievable foundation of mindset and what it's going to mean for you. And if you get brave, throw it in the chat, because I would love to see if there is anything that people are working with. And I'll give you an example. One of the reasons, guys, that I'm so passionate about this work is because when I was 15 years old, I was playing for a hockey team in St. Louis, Missouri. And I was a pretty good hockey player. I was a starting defenseman for my varsity hockey club, but I played for an absolute monster of a coach. He was just a very, very tough individual to be around. He definitely did not speak my language. And he slowly over time made me fall out of love with the sport that I really loved. And so that's one of the reasons that I'm in here. And so I hope you, and I share that story with you because I want you to understand how much I'm here for you, how much I want you to have such a great experience with this 8 weeks that you tell all your friends. And like Lindsay said earlier, this should infiltrate into your teammates and let those guys know the kinds of stuff you're watching. I think that's exactly what we hope for. And I don't think Danny would be upset at all if, a lot more of your teammates wanted to join up and pile on and be a part of what we're doing, even if it's week 1 or week 2, and we've already gotten started.
Totally.
Cool.
All right. Well, nobody's seeming very, very, very chatty today, and that's okay. I will tell you, there's so many different applications to this. I'll just give you a few examples of things that I've experienced at some of my camps that I've been running, or some emails that I've received. Some of the different things that people want to work on are goal setting, right? How do I set a goal, first of all, and then how do I find the commitment and the motivation to actually get to that goal? We're going to talk about that. Another one is somebody who is extremely talented, very good hockey player. They play great in practice and then can't seem to show up for the games. That all comes down to mental training. We're going to talk about that. So those are just a couple of the examples. I think, we've all had that player on our team, and maybe you are this player who gets really frustrated by the things they can't control, whether that be the refs, whether that be their coach, whether that be people on the other team. We're going to talk about that. So there's so many different applications when it comes to the things that we're going to be working on. And as I said, the assignments that we're going to give you, I don't even want you to think about them as homework, right? I almost want you to think about, this is something that I am going to fill out, print out, and have at home with me so that I can lean on it throughout the year and use it throughout the year. These aren't things that you're just filling out and never looking at again. We built this specifically so that as soon as we finish our 8 weeks, you guys are good to go and have these awesome, awesome tools that you can lean on throughout your entire season. That is the ultimate goal, because 8 weeks, it's not a lot of time. But if you use the information that you learn and you apply it, then you're going to be unstoppable this season. And we're really excited to see what you're able to do.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you this. So for those of you who don't know me, for most of my adult life, I was a radio personality. So I played music and I talked to people for my entire life. The average radio song is about 3.5 to 4 minutes long. And I think you can expect each one of these weeks to last about 3 or 4 songs. That's how long it's going to take you to watch the video and do your homework. And so if you're somebody like me who loves to put music on while you do this kind of thing, turn it off while we're talking. But then when it comes to the homework, put on your favorite songs, and it'll take you about 2 or 3 songs to complete everything that we're going to ask, and you'll be done.
Awesome.
Yes, I
You guys
think
have
so.
any
Anybody have
questions?
questions?
Yeah.
Jinx.
Yes, any questions? And if you're watching this also live right now, if you're watching it not live right now, make sure you put any questions in the comments below in the Google Classroom so your coaches can answer that. But yes, any questions from people that are here? Wait a couple seconds.
This just means we're knocking it out of the park.
Yeah.
That's how I take it.
Answering
But
everything.
when nobody raises their hand, I always say, well, I've just done a great job explaining that.
Exactly. Exactly.
I love it. I love
right,
it.
cool.
Well, yeah, we'll wrap this up. But again, if you have any questions, the biggest thing is, one, make sure you know that, or make sure that you're in the Google Classroom, which I think everybody is. And then 2, make sure that you're asking as much and as many questions as you need to and as you can, because the more you can communicate with your coaches, the better. That's the same in this class, and then also when you're on the ice with your coaches. And then the third thing is, have fun and enjoy it, because everybody in this group obviously wants to get to the next level. And you have 2 really good examples of people who are super good at it and have done it in the past themselves. So enjoy this. And then any closing thoughts from both of you or one of you?
We're just excited to get going. I mean, we're so passionate about the green light mindset because we truly believe that it can transform individuals and teams. There's just no question in our mind that with a little bit of information and some common language, you become a different program.
Yep. Couldn't agree more. Super excited, you guys. We're going to have a ton of fun. We're going to learn a lot. And, but again, it's all about how you guys use the info. So, when you're here with us, whether it be live or watching the videos, be locked in, be ready to learn, and it's going to be awesome. Thanks for coming on tonight.
Yeah, peace.
Let's do the work. See you all soon.
Do the work.
Do the
Thanks,
work.
guys.
Thank you, Sophia.
See ya.
That was great. Nice. Thank you, guys.